Hello, and thanks for joining us. Today we have Ugly Duckling back on the table. Why Ugly Duckling? Well, last episode, if you remember, Ugly Duckling got some steering upgrades. We replaced these plastic links with some China links. They pretty much mirror the factory pieces, but they add some nice strength and stability to the truck. But the problem is we now have another weak point, and that is the servo horn right up in here. This plastic servo horn right here will be our next part probably to fail, so we're going to go ahead and replace it. And today we're going to replace it with this orange servo horn from Extra Speed. We ordered this up from RC Mart, came pretty quickly, so now we're just going to swap this out. Why'd I go with the orange? It kind of matches the stripes on the side, and it matches my toe strap. So, let's go ahead and get this truck tore apart and see what all we need to do to put this servo horn on. Okay, now the first thing we're going to do is remove this body. Let's go ahead and get it out of the way. And now, to make my life easier, we're going to go ahead and just remove these shocks right here, the upper bolts. Then we'll let our front axle swing down and let us get to where it bolts onto the servo. Nice and easy. Okay, I'm now ready to remove the servo horn. You normally don't have to remove the shocks to get to your servo horn, but I'm running shorter shocks on this truck than your stock SCX10 shocks, so that's why I need to do this, so I can access the horn. So, now let's go ahead and remove the servo horn. A little tip here before you remove the servo horn, try to have it straight up and down whenever you pull it off. That way you can put the new one back on in the same position. And this way it should be where everything should line back up the way it was. Let's go ahead and pull this. And now I'm going to remove it from the steering link. Okay, now let's take this servo horn out of the bag. Let's get a closer look at it here. Here it is, real pretty orange, 25 tooth, and it is a clamping style servo horn. And here we can compare it to the stock one. Get them both here side by side for you. As you can tell, it is a little bit longer. We are going to use the top hole here. But that shouldn't be a problem because this will clear behind the link. If you're running a straight link, it may not, but with the curved factory style, it will clear. It's now time to put the new steering horn on the truck. So to do that, let's go ahead and slide the screw back in that we took out originally. And we're going to start threading it into the servo horn. Like I said, I'm going to use the hole that's in the stock location. We'll get it started just a little bit there. Then we'll back off, and to keep this from coming loose, since this is metal and metal, I'm going to add just a drop of Loctite. You don't need to go overboard here, just a drop will do you. There we go. Now I will thread this in the rest of the way. And the Loctite should keep it from backing off. I mean, granted, this don't see nowhere near the vibrations like a nitro truck would see, but it can still see quite a few. Okay, now I just tighten that down. And we're ready to move on. Now we're ready to put the servo horn onto the servo, but I do want to tell you a couple of things. Make sure you loosen up the screws here. Make sure they're out to where they're almost ready to fall out. And sometimes you may have to take a flathead screwdriver and just put it right here in the split and spread them just a little bit. Because sometimes these metal ones will come a little tight to get onto the servo itself. Okay, now we're ready to put it on there. Let's see how this goes. Like I said before, make sure your tires are straight, and remember the orientation that you took this off at. We took ours off facing up and down, and that's the orientation we're going to try to put it back on at. It's going a little snug, but there we go. She's pressed on there far enough now for the screw to pull down the rest of the way. So we're going to go ahead and put that center screw in and tighten it down. I know I probably should use Loctite on these, but I never do because I don't want to have to try to get one out of the servo and have to fight with it and end up stripping it out in the field. So, go ahead and tighten it down, and as you can tell, she's pulling the servo horn the rest of the way back onto the splines. Okay, now that she's snug, what I like to do is just back it off just a touch and then clamp down the side pieces and then tighten the center back down. Now we'll tighten down the screws in the side to clamp it in place. Be careful in tightening these down. You don't want to over tighten them. The heads on them are small, usually the material is weak, and it's easy to strip the heads out of these little screws here. Let's do the other side. Rotate the servo just a bit to allow me easier access to the screw. You can tell I had them backed out quite a ways. Tighten that one down. There we go. We are now finished installing the servo horn onto the servo. Now we got to flip it back over and reinstall our shocks. We are now back to where we started from. Just got to throw the body back on the truck. Okay, so we're almost finished, right? Let's go ahead and take our leftover servo horn here and drop it into a baggie to drop in our parts box. Now, this baggie right here, let's do something special on this. Let's go ahead and grab a Sharpie and write on it, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it says 25T SCX10 Tactic Futaba. That way we know what the servo horn fits in just a glance, and we don't have to go about taking it out, counting teeth or anything like that, because Futaba and the Tactic gear are quite popular, and never know when you or one of your buddies might need a servo horn out on the trail. So just a good little thing to do there to be helpful. And there you have it. The orange servo horn is completely installed. That metal piece replaces that weak flimsy plastic piece. So now we should be good to go for a while. More than likely the next piece to break will probably be the plastic gear inside the Tactic servo, but hopefully we will either replace that gear or that servo before that happens. So what is next for Ugly Duckling? Honestly, I'm not sure. This truck as it is right now is just a blast to drive out on the trails, and I'm just enjoying it as it is. Just removing a couple weak points here and there, but otherwise she is a solid, good running truck. So why don't you just go ahead and subscribe so that way you don't miss any updates whenever an update does happen to this truck or any of our other project trucks or future project trucks. It is now December, and I know in less than a month we'll be starting probably one of our big builds. It'll probably be a 10-12 part series easy and should be good fun. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. You'll just have to check back to find out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to check out our other videos. You can contact us on Facebook, Instagram, email, whatever suits you. And happy RCing.